For the first time in the history of Nigeria, the digital asset as well as cryptocurrency has now been recognized as a form of security in Nigeria, meaning that people can now trade with digital assets. People can now do the cryptocurrency and it will be properly regulated by SEC. So today, what it means is that the virtual asset services providers as well as the digital asset operators are today under the purview of SEC.
My name is Senator Osita Izunaso. I am the senator representing the Imo West Senatorial District, otherwise known as Olu Zone.
With the Investment and Securities Act that has just been signed by Mr. President. Well, the overview of the act is a holistic enactment because we repealed the 2007 ISA and reenacted it in 2025 with the aim of resetting the entire investment and securities law in Nigeria. With what we have done today, for the first time in the history of Nigeria, the digital asset as well as cryptocurrency has now been recognized as a form of security in Nigeria, meaning that people can now trade with digital assets. People can now do the cryptocurrency and it will be properly regulated by SEC. So today, what it means is that the virtual asset services providers as well as the digital asset operators are today under the purview of SEC. But before now, that was not the case. And you will recall that Nigeria is about the second or the third globally in terms of cryptocurrency. And a lot of money have passed through this country without it being regulated. And today, Mr. President is talking about $1 trillion economy. By signing this act into law, it means that Nigeria is set for that $1 trillion economy. Because if you want to achieve the $1 trillion economy that Mr. President is envisaging, you must promote both the money market and the capital market. So today, the capital market has been reset for that purpose. And I would also like to make it clear that the days of Ponzi, insider trading, and market manipulations are over. Today, if you are caught in a Ponzi market arrangement, you have a risk of going to jail for 10 years and also pay a fine of over 20 million naira to 40 million naira. And all the money that you took from people will also be recovered from you. Now, today we have classified exchanges into two. You now have composite exchange, and non-composite. Composite means that you can do multiple trading, while non-composite is about single security trading. So the whole idea is to enhance proper market regulation and also mitigate risk. So this new law is now promoting investors' confidence, repositioning Nigeria, because hitherto the ISA of 2007 was not in compliance with the IOSCO. IOSCO is the International Organization for Securities Commissions. Today, the new law is now arranged in a manner that is now consistent with IOSCO standard and regulations. So you can trade anywhere now in Nigeria, internationally, taking it from the records that is known, not the records that are not known as we're doing it before. So there are so many areas today we're making it more transparent for you to operate in the capital market. And again, public quoted companies before now can do merger and acquisition and even issue securities without SEC. Today, for any public quoted company to do merger, acquisitions, or issue securities, SEC must approve it. In fact, any corporate action of restructuring in any form of any public company must be approved by SEC, even if it is schemes, transactions, and arrangements. So long as it's a corporate action, SEC must approve it. So from what you have seen today, we are set to achieving the $1 trillion economy of Mr. President by the new revolutionary resetting Investment and Securities Act 2025 as accepted to by Mr. President. Thank you.
Is this act addressing anything to do with cybercrime? Because that's also another grievance, particularly because of the new Cybercrime Act, which Nigerians are sort of like revolting against.
Well, the act has sufficiently addressed the issue of cybercrime as it relates to digital asset, as it relates to cryptocurrency. Because for now, everything about crypto and digital asset is now under the purview of SEC for proper regulation. So to that extent, is that addressing the cybercrime to that extent. For that level of cybercrime does not concern SEC. But cybercrime that relates to digital asset, yes, it will address it.
Sir, I can see that maybe there was a particular incident that had happened in the past that led you to come up with this bill. What actually informed your decision to come up with this?
No, there wasn't any incident. This is legislative process in action. This bill even started from the 8th Senate up to the 9th Senate, because you can see that since 2007, capital markets is very dynamic. Things are changing on a daily basis. So you must change globally as things are changing. If not, you'll be left alone. So by the time we came in, we'll have to look at what they did in 8th Senate, 9th Senate, and put it together so that we can meet up with the global trend of capital market expectations. That's what we have done. And I'm happy today that we have achieved that, because with this, we're good to go.
Okay. Yeah, from my end, sir, Francis from Punch. So we understand some of these policies have been fueled by, as they would say, poverty and a whole lot of other things. While trying to play the devil's advocate, can we actually start? I mean, can this new law actually put an end to Ponzi and other related scheme with what we have seen?
You know, before now, people can try Ponzi and they will not be caught and they will not be arrested. Today, if you try Ponzi, you'll be caught, you'll be arrested, because it is digital asset. You can't do Ponzi without passing through the internet and all the rest of them. So you'll be caught. And the whole essence of it is to protect people's money. That is why we're saying that apart from the fine, the person also risks going to jail for 10 years, apart from paying the fine. So you can't even say that you pay the fine and you go free. You will still pay the fine and go to jail. That is what the law is talking about. And you also are aware of insider trader, which was part of the collapse of the capital market in Nigeria before. Because those who are operating the capital market were sabotaging the system internally. Today you can't do it again with this new law. Once you do it and you are caught, you go to jail. You lose your license.
So don't you think that is very harsh, 10 years and paying such a huge amount at the same time?
No, that is not even harsh, because initially we were even proposing 20 years imprisonment, because if you know the type of economic sabotage that is involved, is an economic sabotage not only for the country, but also for the people involved. So you can imagine if you have all your savings and somebody will go and collect it from you, and you lose everything that you've worked for throughout your life. So if you put that person in prison for 10 years, is it commensurate for you losing everything that you've got? So the idea is to deter people from even trying it.
It's not going to be selective, it will apply to government officials.
No, everybody. And again, there's also another important aspect of this bill, this act, because it's now been signed. You know, before now, subnationals like the states and local governments do not approach capital market for long-term funding. But with this new law, states and its agencies and local government can approach capital market for long-term funding instead of relying on federation accounts and commercial borrowing. you cannot go to the capital market for long-term funding for your state. In fact, of all the 774 local governments in Nigeria, it's only one local government, Lagos Island, that have approached the capital market for funding. So what are the other local governments doing? What are the states doing? So we have now made it more flexible. This law has made it more flexible. Before, you can say it wasn't flexible for them, but now it's very flexible. Every state that wants to approach the capital market now can go to SEC and get the approval and get long-term funding for infrastructural development in the state. And again, there are so many issues. You know, it's settled in law by the Supreme Court that the Investment and Securities Tribunal is the only body that is responsible for adjudication of matters of capital market, matters of investment and securities in Nigeria. Now, this new law have now dealt with composition, jurisdiction, and the process of appointment of members of that tribunal. Now we're saying that for you to be a member of that tribunal, you must be a lawyer of not less than 10 to 15 years cognate experience in the capital market. So we're now trying to reposition that Investment and Securities Tribunal so that you can ease dispute resolution and make people to have more confidence in going to the capital market. I'm sure you are all aware that there was a time in this country that capital market was booming. After it failed. It failed. Why did it fail? It's because some of these components of this law that we've added now were not there before. So people can do anything they want to do and get away with it. And a lot of Nigerians lost their money. Even we are rebuilding the confidence. The confidence in the capital market is not yet there. We're just rebuilding it now, making Nigerians to have more confidence in the capital market. Because as far as Nigerians are concerned, capital market is a place where you put your money, after a while you lose the money. But we're not saying that is not the case. You can put your money in the capital market now and be protected. The investors are now protected. There's even now more funding. In fact, this particular law have also made it possible for commodity market. It's now a structured arrangement in the agricultural sector and in the mining sector. Before now, they were not available. So you can see that it's all encompassing. It's everything you can think of.
Deliberated on the general principle of investment and Securities Bill 2024. After extensive deliberations, the bill was read for the second time and referred to the Committee on Capital Market for further legislative action. The bill was read for the first time in these hallowed chambers on Wednesday, 4th October 2023. It was sponsored by distinguished Senator Michael Okpeyemi Bamidele, CON, and my humble self, Osita Izunaso. Our observations and findings. The committee, having conducted public hearing as well as carried out subsequent legislative activities on the proposed bill, do hereby outline its deliberations and findings as follows. 1. The stakeholders were unanimous in their support for the passage of the bill, although with some modifications which have been reflected in the provisions of the bill as set in the attached table. 2. That the Eastern Legislative, as revolutionary as it was at its inception, after many years of its operation, requires systemic substantial update to align with the evolving financial market and regulatory frameworks globally in order to make it more attractive to both local and foreign investors. 3. That the enactment of this proposed legislation will undoubtedly provide significant opportunity to drive the growth of the capital market and diversification, thereby creating a conducive atmosphere for investors in the Nigerian capital market. 4. That the bill contemplates to address modern forms of financial malpractices and reinforce investors' protection by engendering robust regulations around market abuses, insider trading, and governance standard for public traded companies. 5, that the bill envisages regulatory framework for digital currencies and fintech activities, including the provision of blockchain cryptocurrency transactions to support the integration of innovative technologies within the scope of the capital market. That the passage of this bill will bring about diversity and growth in the capital market through market offerings that will form the foundation for capital economic expansion, thereby creating job opportunities within the Nigerian capital market. Recommendation: the Senate Committee on Capital Market, to which this bill was referred to, having thoroughly considered the same, hereby recommends that the Senate will consider and pass the bill, the Investment and Securities Repeal and Amendment Bill 2024 as amended. In conclusion, Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, I wish to respectfully, on behalf of the committee, thank you for the opportunity to serve in this capacity. Thank you all.